Hey everybody, it's low carb and keto friendly nutritionist Amy Berger here from 2itnutrition.com, bringing you the next video in how to do keto without the crazy. Before we get into today's topic, which is a viewer request by the way, just a quick reminder that I have a relatively new ebook out. It's called The Stall Slayer. There's a link below. You can check that out at stallslayer.com, and it is about breaking fat loss stalls on low carb or ketogenic diets. So if you have been eating keto or you think you've been eating keto and you are looking to lose a substantial amount of fat and that's not happening, do check out the Stall Slayer. You might find the answer in there. If you have already read the Stall Slayer, A, thank you for purchasing it. Thank you for checking it out. B, please send me some feedback. I would love to know if you guys are learning from the book, if it's helping you, if you're enjoying it. There's a contact form at stallslayer.com. There's a place to contact me, but I'll put that link below too. You can just click and send me some feedback. Some really, really positive feedback has already started to come in, so I'm very happy, I guess. It's such a dumb word, but I'm happy that you're learning from it and that you find it helpful. And I even had one person tell me that the thyroid chapter alone is worth the price of the book. And in my humble or maybe not so humble opinion, I totally agree. I said that to myself many times. I would say the thyroid chapter alone is worth the price of this book. Anyway, if you buy the Stall Slayer, you get way more than just the thyroid chapter. So do check that out. On to the next order of business. Not unrelated to breaking fat loss stalls on low carb or ketogenic diets. The topic of today, as you can tell from the title, is the Fat Fast. And this is a viewer request. Someone asked me to cover this topic. I do take requests. I can't promise that I'll go with your idea, but I'm interested to know what you guys want me to talk about. So you can also just contact me via stallslayer.com, the contact button. It's much, much better to reach me that way than to leave a comment. I don't always have time to keep up with the video comments. So, okay. What is the Fat Fast? Who should do it? Who should not do it? Maybe you've never even heard of the Fat Fast. There are two resources that I'm going to tell you about and share with you, and I will put links to them. They're both books. I'll put links to them below. You can easily find them. But the Fat Fast, in a nutshell, is a way to really, really kickstart fat loss in people whose bodies, for whatever reason, are very, very resistant to giving up excess body fat. And it's really not intended for the people that are just looking to lose the last 5, 8, or 10 pounds. If you're very close to your goal and you've just got that last couple of very stubborn pounds, the Fat Fast is not for you. The Fat Fast is intended for people with very severe obesity, or if you're looking to lose a lot of weight, or maybe even somebody with a very severe metabolic problem who is already diligently doing a low carb or ketogenic diet. And I mean diligently, not cheating, not kidding yourself, not playing around, not half-assing it. You're really doing it and you are still not losing weight. And again, I'm talking about people that have a very substantial amount to lose, not just the last couple of what we might call vanity pounds. If you're faithfully, really, truly sticking to keto and nothing is happening, then you look into the Fat Fast. But before looking into the Fat Fast, what I would say is take a good hard look at your diet and make sure that you're not kidding yourself. And I did a video a while back on stop kidding yourself about carbs, so I'll put a link to that. And basically what that is you need to just have a very serious, unbiased evaluation of what you've been eating. Because maybe you think you're keto, but then I forgot on Friday. Well, everybody's work situation is different right now because of the virus, but for example, when life is more normal, on Friday I forgot I went out for happy hour, after work, and I had that slice of pizza, or I had that beer. And then, Monday was Janie's birthday and I had the cake. Or even if you're eating mostly foods that are on your normal keto plan, but maybe you're just eating a little bit too much carbohydrate for your own personal tolerance. And that could even come from things like spinach and broccoli and almonds and cauliflower and raspberries, you know, things that we might normally consider perfectly suitable for a ketogenic diet. If you fall into the category of people whose bodies are just very, very, very resistant to giving up that excess fat, you might be someone who needs an extremely strict ketogenic diet. Something like Dr. Westman's page 4, something like Atkins induction, and we're going to talk about good old Dr. Atkins in a minute here. But you might be someone who doesn't even have wiggle room to overdo carbs from, again, things like cauliflower and walnuts and eggplant, whatever. So that's what I would start with before doing something extreme like the fat fast, because it is extreme and we'll talk about it in a minute. Before going to extreme lengths, make sure you're actually doing the basics first. And you might even want to check out my book, The Stall Slayer, because you might be overdoing the carbs inadvertently. It's not like you're eating bread every day and you wonder why you're not losing weight. There's these little bits that you might not even be aware of till you really, you know, evaluate what you've been eating for the last however long period of time. The other thing is your fat intake. Because if your carbs are low enough that you are in ketosis, and you know, if you've watched my videos for any length of time, I normally discourage testing ketones, whether it's blood, breath, or urine, because most people just don't have a strong enough appreciation for all of the different biochemical feedback, you know, loops and all the different physiological pathways that happen that regulate ketones and blood sugar and all that, that you'll see one number on your meter and freak out because you don't really understand. So I normally don't like people to test. But if you're in this situation where you think you're doing everything right and that fat is just not budging, then I would recommend testing, because if you're not in ketosis, that's something you can easily fix. You got to get the carbs down lower. If you are in ketosis, that tells you that your carbs are low enough that you are burning fat, you are in a ketogenic state, but you might be consuming too much fat. So your body is burning all of the dietary fat. It's burning the butter and the heavy cream and the cheese and the nuts and the coconut oil and all that, instead of burning your own stored body fat. And all of that's in the Stall Slayer. But so those are the basics. You know, make sure that you're not screwing up the fundamentals of how this diet actually works. Now, if you've confirmed, like, no, I'm doing everything right, I am not kidding myself, my carbs are super low, I'm not adding gobs and gobs of fat to everything, like, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm still stuck, help me, universe. Then you look at the fat fast. Now, I don't know if Dr. Robert Atkins invented the fat fast, but his book is the first place I learned about it. His book is also the first place I ever learned about low carb diets. This was my entree into this whole world, and I did a 3-part little video series on Dr. Atkins and how freaking awesome he is and how amazing this book is. I will put links to that as usual so you can find everything easily. But I'm going to read you a little bit from where he talks about the fat fast. It's in a chapter. The chapter is called Treating Extreme Metabolic Resistance. And what he means by extreme metabolic resistance is exactly what I've been talking about. It's where you're doing everything right. Even like you might have been treated at the Atkins Center. You might have been one of his patients. And you are following his plan as written. You are not screwing it up. And still, this stubborn body fat won't budge. Then he would say, okay, you are in the small percentage of people, you're out there, but it's a very small percentage of you who really have to go to extreme lengths to get things moving. And he calls it the fat fast for the fat fast. And what that means is it's a fat fast, and we'll talk about that, for people who are fat fast. Meaning your body holds fast to fat. It doesn't want to release its fat. It doesn't want to give up. When we use fast as that type of adjective, it's kind of old-fashioned. We don't really use it anymore, but you could say, like, you know, hold fast to your whatever, to your money, to your this, or, you know, my body just holds fast to it. But that's what we might fast. So it's a fat fast for people whose bodies are Fat Fast. And the reason it's called a fat fast is because it's basically a fast modified by a little bit of fat intake. And it's about, not depending on where you look, it's about 900 to 1,000 calories a day, which, you know, depending on who you ask, that's a lot of calories if you're fasting, but if you're not fasting, geez, 900 calories is nothing. And it's about 90% fat. And the reason it's done this way is because, I mean, obviously, a full-on fast is going to be the quickest way to lose body fat. You might lose some muscle with it too. That's a whole different story. But eating nothing is probably the quickest way to get rid of stubborn fat. It's also the quickest way to probably get into that ketogenic state. If you've got nothing coming in, your body has to get into ketosis, or I don't know what. Now, what else? No notes, and I'm getting a little, let me make sure I focus again here. So yeah, it's basically a modified fast. And the reason I say modified is because what's recommended to eat during the fat fast is just about 90% fat. It's like nothing that should budge your blood sugar or insulin really in any way. It's almost pure fat. And I think probably the only reason Dr. Atkins even had anybody consume fat at all rather than just fasting, straight up fasting, is psychologically. I think there's a lot, you know, if you know the IDM program, Intensive Dietary Management, it's been rebranded. They're called the Fasting Method now, TFM. That's Megan Ramos and Jason Fung and all them out of Canada. You know, they have thousands of patients. Plenty of people can just fast with no food. They just fast, no problem. Many other people really kind of can't get through it without little bits of something. Maybe they drink coffee, maybe they drink tea. Dr. Atkins had people on 900 to 1,000 calories per day he recommended either four little fat meals of 250 calories each. So what's that? That's 1,000 calories. Or 5 little tiny fat meals of 200 calories each. So 1,000 calories either broken into 4 or 5 meals. And I'm making the air quotes, and I use the term loosely because for 1,000 calories a day, broken up into 5 or 4 feedings, he recommended 1 ounce of macadamia nuts 5 times a day, and that's what you eat for the day. Or 2 ounces of cream cheese makes for, you know, that amount of food through, you know, 4 feedings, let's say, of 2 ounces of cream cheese. Also, you know, half an avocado, or he's got some other things, bacon, just very fatty stuff. This would be the time for something like a coffee with extra heavy cream or butter in it. But again, only 200 or 250 calories. That's not a whole lot. So I think the reason the fat fast even exists is because even in the most metabolically resistant person, going to that extreme, you should get into ketosis. Now, you might not lose 10 or 20 pounds over the course of a fat fast, and I'll talk about why in a minute, but within 1 or 2 days of eating 900 to 1,000 calories a day of 90% fat, basically 0 carbohydrate and almost 0 protein, you will be in ketosis. And if you're not, that's the time to work with a doctor to get some deeper testing done, because something is wrong. There is some kind of hormonal roadblock. There's something going on, because nobody eating 900 calories a day of pure fat for 2 days should not achieve the state of ketosis. Now, because it's so extreme, Dr. Atkins is very clear that this is not a long-term diet. This is like, it's not even a quick fix. This was not intended to be something to like undo the damage, so to speak, after a binge. Let's say you went off the rails and you had every carb in sight for a week. The fat fast is not intended to correct that or to like get you back on track. The way to get back on track after that is to just get back on track. Forget it. It's in the past. Move on. Get back to your normal ketogenic diet. This is really specifically intended for people whose bodies, for whatever reason, are not responding to the normal Atkins induction diet, that normal sort of 20 grams of total carbs or fewer with really no limit on the protein. So again, he recommended no more than a week. I think he even says about 2 to 3 days, maybe 3 to 5 days, no more than a week. No more than a week. And let me see if I want to read anything from here, because then there's another resource that I want to share with you. Now, of course, this whole book, this is just the Atkins, this is the second, updated version of his diet book. It just has a very little small chapter about the Fat Fast. So let's see. Yeah. In effect, you will be on a fast modified by 5 handfuls of macadamia nuts, or the equivalent, the equivalent amount of fat and calories. It is not designed for those who want to lose fat fast. There, I said it, and I'm not sorry. That's a direct quote from Dr. Atkins. That's why I call it the Fat Fast for the Fat Fast. It is not designed for those who want to lose fat fast. Remember, this diet is only to be used by people whose body fat is as resistant to being lost as a color fast fabric is resistant to losing its color. Right? So I've had this shirt forever. I've put it in the laundry a million times. It's still dark blue. It hasn't faded. If your fat is as stubborn to getting off your body as the blue is to getting out of this shirt, then you look at this. Now, let me see what else I want to read. Yeah. If you don't go into ketosis on this program, you should be seeing a doctor who specializes in metabolic disorders, for you surely have one. Direct quote from Dr. A. I do not believe the Fat Fast should be used for more than 1 week at a time. Yeah, let's see. I would consider such a diet safe, but only for a person who has demonstrated total inability to lose on the induction diet. And now here's, if you are one of these rare people who even on something like Dr. Westman's very strict page 4 or on something like a strict Atkins induction, if you are one of these people, then listen to also what Dr. Atkins had to say. A person with metabolic resistance cannot expect to lose rapidly and must develop the patience of Job. Figure it will take a year or 2 to reach your goal, and be content if you proceed steadily on that schedule. You cannot judge your fat loss progress by anyone else out there on the internet. On whatever group you like to be a part of, you cannot. Your body doesn't work the way other people's bodies work. It sucks. It is not fair. It's demoralizing. It's disheartening. It's discouraging, but it's the way it is. So bottom line, you just have to be much, much stricter than a lot of other people out there. Now, the other resource I want to share with you is actually called the Fat Fast Cookbook. You can get this on Amazon. I'll put a link below. This, it's a cookbook. I don't know if you can, it's a teeny tiny skinny little book, but you see this the gray portion, that's all recipes. The whole front matter of the book is like, what is the Fat Fast? Who should do it? Why? Who should not do it? The whole back of it is recipes, and they are divided up by the percentage of fat. There's recipes that are 80 to 83% fat, 84 to 87%, and 88% fat and up. And so what are you looking at? You're looking at coffee with coconut oil in it. You're looking at coconut, bread made with coconut flour. You're looking at fat bombs. You're looking at butter roasted pecans. You're looking at a lot of nuts. You're looking at macadamia nuts. You're looking at salmon bisque, broccoli cheese soup, like things that are just going to be very, very fatty with very little protein and little to no carbohydrate. Jalapeno poppers wrapped in bacon stuffed with cream cheese. That's the kind of deviled eggs. That's the kind of stuff we're looking at here. And You absolutely, you know, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a nutritionist. If you are taking any kind of medication for type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes or blood pressure, hypertension, or I would frankly say any kind of medication, even like an antipsychotic, any kind of antidepressant, sort of psychological mood altering medication, do not, repeat, do not do the fat fast without medical supervision. You might get yourself into a very, very dangerous, potentially life-threatening situation if you, because if your blood sugar and insulin levels change that dramatically by doing the fat fast and you are on certain medications, nuh-uh, they do not mix. You must do this under physician supervision. If you're not on any medications and you don't have any diagnosed medical conditions, I would say it's probably not that big a deal to do this. You might still want to consult a doctor or a keto-friendly nutritionist who can like make sure that you're going to do it safely. But really, my concern would be if you are taking medications. Now, I want to read from this. I've mentioned Jackie Eberstein before. She's an RN. She was the head nurse at the Atkins Center for Complementary Medicine for like 30 years. She is brilliant. She's still active in low carb. She speaks at conferences now and then. She doesn't come to them all, but she says, let's see, this isn't a direct quote from her, but I think they talked to her when they wrote this book. Yeah, okay. I asked Jacqueline Eberstein, RN, who was Dr. Atkins' right hand for 30 years, about his recommendation that people only fat fast very short term. She said that Dr. Atkins' concern was that people would abuse the fat fast, using it for quick weight loss, but never making the transition to a long-term low carbohydrate diet. Using the fat fast sporadically while eating a high carb diet in between times could lead, Atkins felt, to weight cycling and eventually metabolic syndrome. Please don't do this. Yeah, don't do that. What that basically says in plain English is the fat fast is not a quick fix. It's not a little thing to be like used as your little keto hack, your little keto trick, like, oh, you know, 26 days out of the month I eat garbage and then I do that 3 or 4 day fat fast. No, that doesn't work that way. The fat fast is intended to kick things into high gear, and I'm moving my hand down because I'm thinking of losing body fat, so high gear is lower, you know. Kick things into high gear when you're already on a low carb or ketogenic diet. You're already fat adapted, but you need to take it to that next level to really get over that extreme metabolic resistance that you have. Now let me think if there's anything else I wanted to say, because I normally forget things and then I have to like re-record or record a part 2, and I'm not doing that. I mean, I don't think most people ever need a fat fast. I think what most people need to do is get real and stop kidding themselves. I think there's a lot of people who just are overdoing the carbs, frankly. They don't mean to. They're not, it's very unintentional, but if they would really sit down and track, and again, just like measuring ketones, tracking is something I normally discourage because it can lead to some very disordered patterns and thinking about food. But if you think that you're doing all the right things and it's not working, then it's not a bad idea to track for a few days. And don't kid yourself. You have the one little M&M and the one Hershey Kiss. Write that down. Because over the course of a day or over the course of 3 days, those little onesie twosies add up to 5sies, 6sies, 9sies, 10sies, and all of a sudden you've had 40 grams of carbs a day, which for some people is a ketogenic diet. But if you are one of these extremely metabolically resistant people, you can't have that much carbohydrate and expect to lose that body fat. So my first recommendation, again, is to get real. Do Atkins induction or do Dr. Westman's page 4. And if that doesn't work, then consider the fat fast. You could even just fast. You don't have to do the fat fast. Like I said, I think this helps people psychologically because you're never really more than maybe 3 hours away from a quote unquote meal or a snack, some cream cheese, a deviled egg, a couple of slices of bacon. And that might help you get through rather than having nothing. I guess I mean, you could also just try it as an experiment. Like, I also think even if losing stubborn body fat isn't your issue, and I think I talked about this in that video I did about get real about your carbs, stop kidding yourself. If that keto magic hasn't rained down upon you, if the keto heavens haven't opened up above you, I didn't mention the fat fast at that time, but what I did mention was like a 3-day bacon and egg fast is what I called it. Like literally eat nothing but bacon and eggs for 3 days, because that's almost the same thing, except I didn't put any caloric restriction on it. I would say eat unlimited bacon and eggs, because that's basically 0 carb, higher fat, very adequate protein, but nothing to really mess with your blood sugar or insulin. And I would find it hard to believe that there's anyone out there that after 3 or 4 days of eating nothing but bacon and eggs, that they are not in a deeply ketogenic state. And it may be that if you have an issue, again, separate from losing body fat, an issue like migraines or bipolar disorder or depression or joint pain or something else going on in your body, even like fatigue especially, even if you are in ketosis, if your normal level of ketosis is just kind of on the border of, oh, I'm just into ketosis, you might feel better. That keto magic might anoint you if you really get into a deeper state of ketosis. And I have to be clear, not everybody requires that. Some people don't even need to be in ketosis at all to lose body fat or to feel great. But if you are one of the people who responds really well to higher ketones, then either the fat fast or something like a 3 or 4 day bacon and egg diet is going to get you there. And once you're there and you do feel that, you experience the difference between either not being in ketosis at all and being in deep ketosis, or being a little bit in ketosis versus deep ketosis, then you can decide what you need to do for the longer term. Because I definitely don't recommend the fat fast for long term, and I don't really recommend the bacon and egg diet for long term. I know there's a lot of carnivores out there that are doing exactly that. I don't know if it's the best idea, but you can modify a more normal, more conventional ketogenic diet to keep you in that deeper state of ketosis once you know that that is best for you and you function best that way, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, cognitively, like sharp thinking, energy-wise, whatever it may be. Then you can tweak your normal diet to be a little higher in fat, lower in carbs, maybe a little bit lower in protein. Okay. I've said enough. As usual, video is almost half an hour. I didn't think I was going to talk that long, but really, I do think if you're interested in this, I think this is a great resource. This is a great resource, period, whether you are interested in fat fast or not. If you just want the real deal, original, old school, low carb diet, this is it. And again, I did a video on this celebrating Dr. Atkins and his plan. Video link below. And I think I forgot. No, I said if you want to experiment. So even if you don't have body fat to lose, you can try this just to see how it feels to be in that state of ketosis, and just to experiment. Some people out there just like to try different things. If you're one of them and you've never done a fat fast, do it. Again, I will leave you with the caveat that if you're on medication I'm going to say for anything, but especially for anything having to do with blood sugar or blood pressure or mood, you must be monitored by a physician. Do not do a fat fast unsupervised. That's it. Stallslayer.com. Link below to my ebook on breaking fat loss stalls. It's going to come out on Amazon soon for Kindle and print on demand. So if you want a hard copy, that's coming soon. You can just buy it's an ebook right now. You can buy the PDF and print it out at home. But if you'd rather wait for the copy that will be on Amazon, that's coming soon. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, if you like Keto Without the Crazy, please subscribe to the channel and share these videos. Share, put them on Facebook, put them on Twitter, put them wherever. Help bring more people to the cool club that we have here. See you next time. Bye.